All right, thanks. Love you. Come on. Welcome back to another episode of the Stop the Hey Girl podcast. And today I thought it would be fun to do a little bit of what advice I would give myself if I were to go back to this business, baby business Kayla, in the fall of 2018 when she was just getting started. Knowing what I know now, what advice would I give her? We could be here all night with all the advice I could give and all the things I would say, like, don't do it, Kayla, no, don't do it. But of course, a lot of the things were lessons that we have to learn sometimes. And well, let's just jump into the advice that I would give myself. I would say the first piece of advice that I would give myself if I were going to go back to baby business Kayla would be, don't try to work with everyone, because this was a lesson that I really had to learn, and I had to, unfortunately, learn it quickly. Because what happens when you work with the wrong people, right, is they drain you. They make you second guess yourself in everything that you're doing. They make you think that you're not enough. And a lot of the times we end up taking on clients who we don't serve best and who we can't serve best because it just doesn't, their needs are just not what we can provide. Some people need more support in the mindset. Some people need more support in the strategy. And sometimes some people need the help of a licensed medical professional, which we are not, as coaches and online mentors, qualified to help someone with. Well, some are, like my girl Topsy, but she's just a rock star and she is a licensed therapist. But that was something that I had to learn because, unfortunately, I'm not going to lie, I spent many nights crying, feeling like I wasn't enough because it was someone who I never should have signed. It was the wrong person. Some people want to take advantage. And that was something I really wish I would have learned, is when you see the red flags, trust yourself and to know that you're feeling them for a reason. And even when you're turning away money, it's making you energetically available for the right people to come in. The second lesson that I would want to give myself is to be cautious with being trusting. Meaning, I have had to learn some lessons in business that contracts, no matter what your established relationship with someone is a non-negotiable, and making sure that communication and everything along those lines is set out, because mistakes can happen even when people have good intentions. And it's just something that makes sure that it protects you and your business and also protects the other party. So always having contracts in place and either hiring an attorney to create one for you or use an amazing resource for legal templates that you can customize for your business, like from She Coaches Company, I believe is the name. I will put it down below, but they make legal templates that are so awesome, so easy to use, and I wish I would have used them sooner. Which leads me into another lesson that I learned very early on in my business days, and that is to not waste time trying to do something yourself that you're just not good at. So as an example, I got Kajabi about 5-6 months into my business. And for those of you that don't know, Kajabi is an amazing tool that can house emails and courses, and it can do so many things. Payment processing, like I could go on. It's an amazing platform that I've paid for nearly 2 years now, and it's amazing. But here's the thing, I got it too early, which we're going to get into in a second. And the second thing is I tried to fiddle with making the landing pages myself and trying to teach myself graphics and coding, which is not my expertise. And I actually nearly wasted almost a month fiddling solely with that page. And if I were to give myself advice, if I were to go back and say, Kayla, listen, ask yourself, is this the best use of your time? If you really want to get this done, look into outsourcing it instead. And I wish I could have gotten my time back. But I also believe that I got Kajabi too early. At the time, especially, Kajabi was the new shiny thing for people in the coaching industry. And it was almost like a status symbol because it's not cheap. I pay just under $200 a month for my Kajabi to be able to use it, right? And so what I would recommend for courses and stuff when you're just starting out is doing something like on a WordPress website, which I did for a little bit, but I should have kept it longer, or using a resource like Teachable or Thinkific to host a course instead of jumping straight into Kajabi, because even to this day, I still don't use all the features to its full capabilities. And even though my website is on Kajabi, I still think that I could have waited a little bit longer and have funneled that money into something else. Another lesson that I would give myself is to, with your business friends, also make time to talk about things that aren't just business. And this is something I'm still working on, but I wish I could have started giving advice to myself back then. So then who knows, maybe I wouldn't be struggling with it so much now. But I think it's really important when we're in business to make time to talk about things other than that with our business friends and non-business friends alike, but specifically business friends, because it's so easy to get into the habit of talking about launching and projects and in tech and all of these things. But then I think sometimes we lose sight about the fact that we work in our business all day, and then when we go and just talk about it all night, we never get a break. So I like to make intentional time to talk about literally anything other than business with my friends. Goofy things, stories from our past, hopes for the future, literally anything, just to get off the subject of business for a little bit. And then another piece of advice I would definitely give myself is to be bold but choosy with your investments. Now, I still don't feel like I have made a bad investment. Everything has been amazing, has taught me valuable lessons, but there have been times that I waited longer to do things than I should have because I felt scared. And so if I were to go back, I would encourage myself to just jump right in because greatness was waiting. So taking more chances, taking more risks, because honestly, I am where I am because of the risks that I did take. So that would definitely be a piece of advice. Another piece of advice that I would give myself would be working on your coaching skills a lot sooner. So when I started in my business, I was very heavy in the strategy, and I called myself a coach, but I have since learned that I am a consultant coach hybrid because I do some coaching, but these are relatively newer skills I've learned over the past year. And when I first started, I was very much heavy in the consulting, and I definitely worked with some individuals who needed more coach and then consultant. So that was something that I wish I would have prioritized if I would have known, which would have been strengthening my skills as a coach to make my coach consulting hybrid even stronger. And I'm really proud, especially in the year 2020, of the mentors that I've worked with and the things that I've learned to really strengthen what it means to be a coach. And if you don't know, being a coach isn't giving people answers or giving advice. That's the consulting side. Coaching is asking a series of powerful questions to help your client pull the answer out from within themselves. It means holding space. It means actively listening and being available. It doesn't mean you have to know everything. And I think that's why I was so afraid to really strengthen the coaching muscle, if you will, is because I felt like I didn't know enough and I couldn't be enough. So that was something that I'm so glad I prioritized, because I think it makes not only my leadership stronger, but my courses, my coaching, and my containers stronger, and provides better results. And then another lesson, a piece of advice that I would give myself would be choosy about who you surround yourself with. And that's not like a negative message to like anyone or anything, but I've just been so lucky to have made such amazing friends and connections in the space. So I would give myself advice to really nurture those relationships and keep them strong, because I think that there isn't enough focus on networking. I think that so many things are seen as competition, and people are afraid to grow close to other people if you're in a similar space. And I think that I wish I could have done even more in the beginning to communicate actively that there's more than enough clients for everyone, and definitely coming from an abundance mindset is so much more powerful than coming from a place of scarcity. Another piece of advice I'd give myself is to just be okay with the fact that you're going to get haters online. There is literally no one who is making an impact online that has only people that love them. Every single person who you look up to and you admire right now has haters, has people saying mean things about them on the internet, has people dragging them. Some people, the amount of hate they get is just straight cruel. And that was something I have to remind myself about a lot, because I'm grateful I haven't really received anything that negative. But with that being said, when it does happen, even if it's just a troll, it still hurts. And it's okay to feel those emotions and have those feelings. It doesn't make you weak. But I would just give myself advice just to prepare, because I think you can get tough skin. And that is something that I've actively been working on. But I feel like I was a little bit naive when I first started, thinking that everyone was always going to like me and everyone was always going to like my stuff, because that's definitely something that I'm very self-conscious about, is my irrational fear that suddenly people won't like me anymore. And that's something that I'm working on. And I unfortunately do tie a lot of my perceived value and worth to that. And you know me, I'm very open and transparent about my struggles, and that's something that I'm working on. So that would be something I would love to have been able to coach myself through, present day Kayla, coaching past Kayla through that, so that I wouldn't let that hold me back. Because I'm not going to lie, the fear of what other people think and the fear of people not liking me anymore has been something in my business that has kept me stuck, that has kept me playing small, that has kept me from taking action. And so if you are going through that, I just want to reassure you that no matter what, there's going to be someone talking smack. So to make sure that that fact that we can't avoid, don't let that keep you from doing what you want to do, because it's going to happen regardless. And that's powerful, right? I would rather have someone hate me for doing what I love and for who I am than someone to hate me for what I'm not. And if I was pretending to be someone else, just trying to make everybody else happy. And in closing, my final piece of advice that I would give myself is to stop trying to please everyone. You are not everything for everyone. It's impossible for you to be everything for everyone. It's never going to happen. So release the expectation, because no matter what, there will be people disappointed sometimes. And as long as you are showing up and delivering what you say you're going to deliver, meeting the expectations, the boundaries, and the contracted promises that you have set to make, you are doing a great job, because you are not responsible for how other people perceive things. You are responsible for meeting the expectations you set, and to meet the boundaries that you've set, and to be the person that you are. And if someone's not okay with that, then that's okay. Then they're just not for you. But you don't need to change for anybody, because there are so many people who are so excited to work with you, and they're just waiting. They're waiting for you to step into that next level version of yourself, to step into that power, and they're waiting to sign up with you with open arms. So never play small. Never try to be someone else thinking that that's the secret to your success. The secret to your success is to literally just be who the heck you are online as you are in person. And I promise it's like the doors open up when that happens. But for some reason, and I've been there, so I get it, it's so hard for us to fully be ourselves online sometimes, right? Because it leaves us vulnerable, right? Because it hurts when you show up as yourself and someone says something. Like, it hurts a lot more. But I promise the rewarding parts, the people who are just going to be so grateful that you showed up fully, because it helps them show up fully. You're here to serve, right? You're here to make an impact. And that's really the biggest difference that it's going to make when you show up as who the heck you are. I hope that this was helpful. I wanted to switch up episodes this week and just talk about some advice. And as always, I want to know your recommendations for future podcast episodes and future YouTube videos. So please shoot me an email, or even better, you know I'm always hanging out on Instagram. Go ahead and send me a DM at Kayla Ibanez. Cannot wait to read it. And I will see you next week. Yeah.